Hi there, students. To detain, a verb. Detention, a noun. I think both countable and uncountable. Okay, if somebody is detained by the police, they are forced to stay in a place. But being detained is not the same as being arrested. Or he was injured and was detained overnight in a hospital. Okay, so if somebody is detained, they're held back. Yeah, they're not allowed to proceed. Yeah. I tried to leave the building, but the security guard detained me. Yeah, he held me back. He stopped me. So to detain, to keep or to hold as in custody. I'll get to the difference between detain and arrest in a minute if I can. Let's see, to detain can also be used very often, mean to delay somebody for a short length of time. So very often if you're late, I'm sorry, I was unavoidably detained. Yeah? I was about to leave and then I was detained by a phone call. Okay, so slowed down, kept back for a minute. Yeah, not being able to leave because you've got something holding you back. Yeah, to make late, to retard, to delay. Yeah, to hold back. So I was detained from buying more alcohol because I was already rather drunk. Yeah, so to detain, to stop somebody from doing something as well. And then we have detention, the noun. So if somebody is in detention, they have been officially detained. Yeah, they've been officially. Somebody is not allowed to leave. Yeah. So during his detention, he claims that he was beaten up by the police. Now, okay, one more thing. Detention. This is something that you can get at school. I've had detention, I'm sure we've all had detention, is when you do something wrong and the teacher gives you detention and you've got to stay at school for a time after school has ended, after class has ended. Yeah, so the teacher gave me a detention for using my telephone during the exam. Okay, now, to detain and to arrest. The difference between these two is problematic, and I think very often you're going to need a lawyer to decide the difference between the two. I think if somebody is arrested, they are formally accused of doing something wrong, and they are detained. They're not allowed to go. Whereas if you are detained by the police, they stop you and ask you questions, yeah, because they think that you might have done something, but they don't have evidence to show it, yeah. So I think if you're detained, the police can detain you for a short time to make you answer questions about something, and after that short chat, if it is reasonable, if a person would consider it reasonable to just leave, then that's a detention. But if the police then say no, we're not going to allow you to leave, then that becomes an arrest. Very often an arrest consists of putting on the handcuffs or locking somebody in a room, yeah, whereas a detention is just to stop somebody on their way and ask them questions and to find out more. Okay, so apart from this legal thing, to detain, a detention centre. Yeah. Okay. In a detention center, you have people who are not allowed to leave. In Let's see, you could be detained at His Majesty's pleasure. Yeah. If you're detained at His Majesty's pleasure, then you're in prison for as long as the courts seem necessary. Um, a detention centre is, I think, technically where they keep people who haven't been arrested, but they're not going to let them go on. So maybe, yeah, definitely illegal immigrants or immigrants are sent to a detention centre until it can be proved that they are illegal or not illegal. Okay, so detention, I think, is more complicated. Yeah, you are detained in official custody. You're confined, you're imprisoned, you're incarcerated. So this goes further than the police detained him. The police detained him, they stopped him. And then really they should arrest him. Yeah, but if they continue then to hold him without arrest, I think this is a detention. But the problem is, I think when you are arrested, you are in detention. You're not allowed to leave. So the meaning of these two becomes the same. Okay, so to detain, to hold back. Yeah, the police detain somebody, they keep them under control. Yeah, they're allowed to detain a suspect for up to 48 hours for questioning, to hold somebody, to detain somebody, to delay them. Yeah, I won't detain you any further, I won't delay you any more. And then detention. Okay, detention is when somebody's arrested and put in prison, but particularly for political reasons. Detention without trial. Yeah, that's very unfair. They've been held in a government detention centre. Yeah, they're in custody. They're under restraint. Yeah, and then detention, a punishment for naughty school children, that's me, who are made to stay at school when everybody else is allowed to go home. Okay, so effectively, detention, it's stopping somebody going freely on their way. Let's see. So, to detain, formality. I'm sorry to detain you. 6, informality, use anywhere, a touch on the formal side. Detention. 5.5 informality, use anywhere as well. And then as to origin, okay, it comes from the French détenir, to detain, to slow down, which comes from detinere or detineo, to affect, to detain, to keep back, to hold back and not allow to do something. Yeah, de, away, and tenere, to hold, so to hold away from what you're doing. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Detain, detention, and detain versus arrest. Bye for now.